The feminism term itself was coined by...
If you think everyone is of equal rights, then you're a feminist.
I know someone doesn't want to be called a male feminist, but it happens.
All meninisms are patriarchal.
Nasikia patriarchal system, misogynistic,
Kama ningekuwa nakula jasho and then I'm getting a million.
Jasho.
Okay,
jasho ni kunuka.
Hey, babako tu anakumbuka zile Mercedes aliletewa na the other family. Rudi kwenu.
Shikilia tu hapo what you said, yeah? Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Space Yako, the podcast. This is season 2. Yeah, we're excited to have you back. And if you're new here, please remember to subscribe and also share to help another sister and brother out there. And today I'll be your leading host, Marlene.
Yeah, and super duper co-host, Aisha. Season nijitaisha mashiko. You know, last season was shiko. Alright. Let me go by the same name, alright? So, unaweza niita Shiko for this new season. I think hiyo iko sawa.
For me, Gladwell jina langu halijabadilika, and I'm happy to be here for this second season.
Yeah, and actually today on our podcast, we're going to talk about something which is very important. But before I introduce the topic of the day, we'd like to introduce our guests. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Asante. My name is Vincent Mwinde. I'm a communication specialist. I work with Polycom Girls Organization. I'm also a male engagement officer. And I'm also a SRH advocate. So, asante sana.
Wow. Very serious. Are you the same person you were bantering with backstage?
I think we'll just pick up as we move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A man with many hats. Mesikiza titles zote.
Yeah. Guys, do you like our new set?
I love it.
It's fire.
The colors.
Yeah.
The colors are lovely, actually. Mi napenda purple. It's my favorite color. Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards the yellow.
But you napenda popping colors.
I do.
So, yeah, makes sense.
I do. Mali, what do you like about our set?
It looks great.
Our total realize is set ni different from your season 1.
I hope so.
To upgrade. Upgrade.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for today, I do have Space Spice. But sir, before I Space Spice, I'd like Marlene kwanza tuambie what the topic of discussion is. Yeah,
and actually you'll understand the topic from how he's introduced himself. So he has said something about male engagement, but you'll understand why he's here. So our topic of today is something that has so many controversials, but it's really, really important, especially to us young people as we're trying to fight for equality. So the topic of the day is feminism.
Voila! Feminism.
Yeah. So into the Space Spice.
Haya. Wamenipatia this opportunity. Niwapatia the Space Spice. The first Space Spice for season 2. And here it is. So did you know that a cool fact about feminism? The feminism term itself was coined by a man. So most of y'all would have thought ati ni mwanamke ndiye alisema ati itwe feminism. It was a man from like the French descent. Na actually his works later on zimekuja kutumika as a foundation to just build on advocating for like women's rights na gender equality. So that's really cool. I bet mko mnajua hiyo. Mtatuambia kwa comment section.
Yeah. So maybe to start off, I'd like to hear from you, because you said you deal with men engagements, but you're here and I'd like to understand what does feminism mean to you?
It's advocating for equal rights for both male and female. Let me say women and men. And it has nothing to do with empowering women more than men, which is the wrong perception that we usually have on feminism. So it's just advocating for equal rights for everyone, for both male and female. So that's the definition of feminism.
Thank you. Aisha, what does feminism mean to you?
Unaona hiyo oda yake ni kama oda yangu ni kama yake.
Tuna duplicate.
Kama hiyo.
Tuna copy paste because unajua most of the time what tunadhani is this fighting for like women's rights and this women this women no, but it's an equal play field for all genders.
I love how she put it, an equal play field for all genders. That's lovely. Juu mi nikiweza wapatia yangu, I was this big vile nilikuja kujua that feminism is for both genders. Kitambo used to associate it to vile amesema as a misconception for only female and young girls.
Yeah.
So I'd never really put feminism with a man in one space. Ilikuwa inakaa so out of place actually.
Just to go back to what you said, Gilad, earlier, you've mentioned that it's now when you are a bit older that you started associating feminism with both genders, like female and male. Do you feel like all women should be feminist?
All women should be feminists. Actually, kama we ni mwanamke pale and you're not a feminist, you should be one from today. After Watch 3 podcast, kuwa one of them from today. Nikiangalia dating back to where feminism started as per my own like knowledge ama vile tunajua, ilianzia when a lot of women and the female gender walikuwa so oppressed, and it started off by some individuals standing up for themselves. So niko like, if at all you as a woman are not standing up for yourself, hizi mashida zitashinda zimewakumba, and I mean you have to be there, stand, advocate for yourself, no other people will emulate whatever you're doing. Then ata for today, we even have a male guest hapa, ndio tupate a different perception of what male feminists do. Because najua all of us have that idea of women feminism. Let's tutapata a different kind of opinion from a male guest, and I hope that you learn a lot from this episode.
So before he goes, I'm understanding that question from a point of when we make it about gender, I feel like we lose the whole meaning of feminism,
Yeah.
So I feel like feminism is basically for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not a women's issue, because the fight that we have now is that people have categorized themselves. Patriarchy has been there for long, and that is what feminism is trying to balance out. And so when we say all women should be, there are women who actually uphold patriarchy and they thrive in that and they think that is good for them, But what we are saying is, if you think everyone is of equal rights, then you're a feminist.
Yeah.
Without the title or with the title, you're actually a feminist. Yeah. So your perspective, do you think that all women should be feminists? And you are here and we're talking about feminism.
I think the right thing is we should all be feminist, all of us.
Yeah.
It is not a gender, it's not like a gender role that specifically it's a specific gender that needs to champion for feminism. We are supposed to be all feminists. Let me take an example of the fact that you are a parent, let me say a father figure. If you're supporting your girl to go to school, you're a feminist.
Yeah.
Girls were not able to access education before, so you're a feminist. It's just that you are not categorically titled a feminist. It's not on your forehead, or it's not something that you usually, champion for every day at your workplace or even where you engage with people. So we should all be feminists. If you are a woman and you're able to access maternity health, at this point in life, you're a feminist.
Yeah.
So that's where we are coming from when you're talking about equal rights and access to opportunities equally in equal measures.
Because kuna mahali ilianza, si
Kuna
ndio?
pali ilianza.
Yeah. Also, I feel like you don't need like a big playing field for you to say, okay, I'm now a feminist, niko hapa, hivi ndo nafanya. But you see the example you've given, like just said, dad taking the girl child to school, like within just your capacity, kuna kitu ambao unafanya, only that maybe you don't know that is in line with feminism.
Yes.
But unajua kuna zile systems ambazo zilikuwa before ambazo watoto wa kike walikuwa hawaendi, si wengi ambao tulikuwa tunasoma. Lakini now just you being a dad and being able to take your girl to school, then inakuja, yani you are part of the system, but you're actually part of the system.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually in itself, in this sense, it started as a movement, So it's just that not everyone will be bold enough to stand on the forefront and to want to be the face of, we are fighting for equal rights, but in the sense of the little things that you do, even though not recognized as activists or advocates, but hapo tu, like you can't stand mwanamke akidhulumiwa, you can't stand a woman being taken advantage of. That in itself is enough for you to identify as part of the movement.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Kuna kitu nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, and once you bring up feminism, there's another word that comes together with it, which is meninism.
Yes.
So please tueleze.
Meninism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes hand to hand, right?
Hand in hand. So
Most
it's
times.
usually brought up whenever we talk on social media on feminism. You'll never notice that word that comes around it, meninism. So meninism is it's a counter word for feminism.
Okay.
So these are anti-feminist, and they are they're speaking from a point of a male person. So they are male who are against feminism. So that's the definition of meninism.
Sasa, even females, because I also know there are females who
Yes.
oppose. They are also called. That is also
yeah,
meninism.
you can also identify them as meninism. Just like the way the fact of that we can get there men who support women empowerment and gender equality, and that's why we call them feminists. We call men feminists.
Yeah.
So the same can happen. You can have a lady who
meninist.
doesn't. Yeah, a meninist. A lady who is a meninist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask something in line with that?
Yeah.
Where is the line between patriarchy and meninism? Because I understand patriarchy champions for male dominance,
Male
and in
dominance.
sense, I get the meninism in it. But where is the line between patriarchy and meninism?
So meninism, they're against female dominance.
Like matriarchy.
Yes, matriarchy. So basically, that's the difference of meninism
Yeah.
and patriarchy.
So all meninists are patriarchal.
Sort
Sasa,
of.
haya, ngoja hii kizungu bring it back selector. Sawa, so tuna pull up from the top.
Yeah.
Tuanze hapo kwa patriarchy, kwa sababu unajua these are words on socials. Nasikia patriarchal system, misogynistic, but then you realize actually from just these words watu hawaelewi ni nini.
Hawaelewi.
So let's start. Patriarchy kwanza ni nini? Because meninism shasema feminism shasema meninism. Sasa patriarchy, which is now the Kenya Mali na alikuwa anauliza difference between meninism na patriarchy. So what is patriarchy?
So patriarchy, it's along systems that have been set from time being.
Okay.
Most of that is informed by culture and also way of life of people from a very long time. These are things that are embedded in their way of life. So it comes from culture and even systems. It can be even form of education. It can be form of empowerment. So that is patriarchal system. So whereby we ideologize the aspect of having men as the key people in leadership position. We champion for male to make decisions. We champion for men to be the forefront of everything. So basically it's idealizing. It can be even a lady who sort of like feel like that position is for women. It's for a man. It's for a man. It's supporting the ideology of a man needs to do that in response to leadership opportunities, vis-a-vis comparing to women. Giving an opportunity to women. Yes.
Haya, shikilia tu hapo what you said, yeah? No, I'm coming to the next. I'm coming to the next thing, but just in tie to that, yeah?
Yes.
We've seen how we are already in some kind of patriarchal society. Like that has been the system and the structures of most of our ways of life and culture, as you have said. What do you think is the role of male allies in this?
So the role of male allies is educating, educate your fellow men, get to understand what is feminism and how can you support women empowerment programs. Understand, first of all, what are some of the systematic barriers that have been existing for a very long time and why women are championing for, equal rights. I think the best thing is also understanding where women are coming from. What is the lived experience? Because most of the time where we go wrong is that we do not relate to the lived experience. And of course, as men, we cannot relate. I mean, I cannot understand how it feels, going through menstruation every month. But I can be able to be informed and educated about it. And I'm able to understand, by the way, this and this happens, and this is how I'm supposed to support. Like the way we usually talk of supporting, girls when they are going through menstruation. When we're talking of roles of a dad in a family.
Yeah.
Do you make sure that the girl aski vibaya kukuja kukuitisha, I need some money to go and buy pads. But how have you opened conversation in a family setup that's, even if you don't want to candidly have this conversation, there's always money there for girls to buy sanitary towels. Yes. Just a clarification on meninism and feminism is that feminism is trying to bring equal, an equal playing field whereby we're advocating for the same equal rights for everyone. Like we are going back to the roots of the definition of feminism from where the movement started from, because women wanted equal rights as the ones that men are experiencing. So we are going back to that. So that's the definition of feminism. Feminism is anti-feminism, whereby we have a sort of like a group of men or even women who are a sort of anti-feminists. They feel like feminism is about female dominancy, but that's not the case. But over time, we'll see that there are some sort of like ideology difference that happens even in feminist movement, whereby we lose track of the right definition, or even we lose track of the right path that we are supposed to be taking as feminists. Yes.
Ukweli. Or just the entire motive, huh? Like where are we headed? We get ukweli. Manake that's why when you started tumeuliza hiyo meninism, manake most of the time ukiongea kuhusu feminism then meninism always pops up, and then you just lose track of what the conversation is about, because it's not a fight. It's not a fight. It's more of advocating for
equal rights.
For equality. Yes.
And funny enough, I think also some people just come from a point of ignorance, and it's like the influence they get, and mostly on social media.
Yes.
And because the fear of judgment, that if I say this is okay, then
they might view me differently.
Differently, exactly. And so it's like, as long as everyone understands what it is, I'm sure there could be so many changes of opinions and especially of those people who have influence on social media. So, how do you think men can contribute to gender equality? Before that, I've just remembered. We've spoken of what men can do, and it's really important that you've gone back to household level, like what a man can do on household level. So I want you to maybe mention to us what men have done over the years, because we understand there are male feminists as yourself, and there are so many out there who are championing for same equal rights. So what has been done, or can you just mention maybe events where male have shown up for women to just champion for feminism?
I'll take a case scenario of the end femicide march that we had in Kenya. So fortunate enough, we were part of the planning team.
Nice.
Yes. So if you
match?
Ndakosaje.
Nice.
Ndakosaje. So it was a really nice thing that happened, and I really saw that even the women in the group really appreciated they knew the numbers that they saw of men being part of the movement. And I also appreciate the women who are spearheading everything, because even being in a women's space and someone can be able to actually notice you and give you a space to even share ideas on how we can make things better, it's a really nice thing. So we experienced that as men who were part of this. So we were part of the march. You saw other people who came in on board during the march, men, celebrities, and apart from that, Akina Bien, Kina Bensol. And apart from that, I think the main thing we really wanted from that is that we show that even men in the community can also be part of such things. That from the pictures that you could see, I don't know if there are viral pictures that have been going around of a guy who was holding a placard and guys would wonder, unafanya nini kwa hiyo march? So many things happen during the march, because guys will just holler on you while you're just marching, and they call you some funny names.
When you're in the streets.
Nicknaming you, but I mean, once you know the passion that you have
what
towards something and what you really know the change that it can bring in a community, I mean, those things don't bother you much.
Mulifanya kazi nzuri. That was such a success, and a big shout out to Noni Maingi as well.
Yes.
So that was truly nice. And then unaona vile unasema mkitembea kwa streets ati kuna watu sawa walikuwa wanatukana for the men who are joining the femicide movement,
Yes.
But then you see it's through such platforms, such organized can I call them is it a rally or campaigns that is through zile changes ambazo zitakuja hapo wewe in your household level that your child is going to benefit from it, you see, because it's not something that's yani inafanyika overnight or something that happens overnight, but it's through all these movements that we've seen throughout the years ambazo watu kama sisi the females now to date ama the men also to date you're benefiting from changes zenye ambazo zilianza huko nyuma.
Yes.
But again, shout out to everyone, basically everyone who even had the intention of championing for the same and they were not to be there. Haya, Aisha.
Wasemaje?
How can men advocate for gender equality?
So first of all, mi naona tuanze na you see when you're having such discussions, it's not a women, like we're having such a good conversation right now. So it's not about sisi wanawake tuko hivi, nyinyi wanaume. No. It's just being equal headed. And when we are having such discussions, because by the end of the day, we've said this, it's not a playing field for just women. It's not to say women now we want to be at the top, or we're bringing the men down, or it's the men now fighting the women. You get, huh?
Yeah.
It's not about, it's not a power game. It's more of, it's an equal playing field. So from the conversations as well, we should sit down with, and yani kuangalia solutions inapatikana wapi. Shida iko wapi na solutions inapatikana wapi, all right? So just being level-headed when it comes to communication. So more of these search forums, truly, unajua, you
like
get to have a perspective shift.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this is what normally happens. Okay, pia sisi kuna kwanga na ina. For example, like something very common, which najua it was one of the movements ikija katika feminism, was equal pay, right?
Yes.
And to date I can still say the same, like bado okay ni kitu ambacho hatujafika bado hatujafika. Like you can be a woman, you can, let's say we are both doing the same thing, but then probably for some reason or not you get a better payment than I do. So bado hatujafika. So it's just more and more conversations, and it's not about a gender fight. Truly.
What else do you think men have done in the movement of feminism?
Okay. Sasa kwanza, I'd like to commend Vincent, ama tu nimtume tu as an example juu he is here with us.
Yeah.
So naeza sema an example of things that men have done ni, for instance, Vincent amejituma kwa such spaces za like feminism whereby anajua for a fact that maybe sahi anaweza kuwa in a space that is just full of ladies and he's just working with ladies. Unajua kuna some people who prefer definitely wakwe in a working environment ambapo kuna like gender balance. Ati unafika mahali wanawake. So you can imagine kuna that kind of thinking, unajiambia sa during my breaks what will I be discussing with these ladies?
Women.
Like aside from job, like nini naongea na wanawake. But sasa the thing is, for you to be intentional about advocating for like equality for both genders, even if it dictates that you have to be in that space whereby wanawake ndo wamejaa na unajituma and you're still doing your job very well. He's also a sexually productive and health rights advocate, right?
Yes.
Anafanya hizi vitu zote ambazo at this point you'll find very, very few males in such spaces. So I'm saying we can mimic whatever he is doing, and we are commending whatever he is actually doing. So that's what I'll say for today. Yeah.
There's something you had told me backstage, and I think it's very good to like have the audience know that you actually have a program where you talk to young boys.
Yes.
And you also talk to men.
Yes.
Tell us more about it, because I found it to be very profound.
So what we do is that we're trying to bring a new generation of young men who are gender sensitive, and they're also gender allies and advocates. So these are started all the way from the school setup.
Okay.
We conduct mentorship sessions in schools. So we had the same program that was happening, but basically on mentorship, sexual reproductive health for girls. So when I joined the organization, we had this idea of like, if you can have the same conversation so that, there's progress, that you can see it's a progress, because that's like bringing new ideology and new something that people can think about. So we started having discussion with young boys in the community. How do they view on gender roles? Gender sensitive conversation. What is their take? So I mentor young boys. I mentor young boys, adolescent boys in schools.
Okay.
How do they view their counterparts in schools? How do they view them while girls are going through menstruation? What do they understand about menstruation? Because one day you'll be a father figure. One day you're a brother, of course. So you have also, these men go back home to their mothers, to their sisters, or even later on in life to their wives.
Yeah.
So if they understand gender roles, gender-sensitive topics that really happens, and also trying to debunk some of the harmful practices that have been male harmful practices, or even patriarchal systems that have been there for a very long time. From a very small age, they're able to understand everything. So we have those mentorship sessions that happen in schools. And apart from that, we also conduct training for influential leaders in the community. These are the imams, the pastors. We also have the, ule mse wa boda hapo kwa community. Because most of the times you'll find that sorry to say, but they are also the key people that you'll find in courses on SGBV, sexual gender-based violence. But if they understand that I can respect a woman, even if they are my partner, I can request. No, request is not a good word. I can have informed consent on matters to do with sex with my partner, so that we don't have those instances of kuna rape in a marriage. People don't know about that, but it happens. So that's what we do. So because we understand why we also do that with influential leaders in the community, is that we understand that out of the patriarchal system that we've been having for a very long time, we'll find that male are in those decision-making spaces. And if they are not informed to advocate for gender equality, systems that we really need in a country, I mean, we're still going back to the same thing that we are complaining of.
Yeah, back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. So, but when we do this, we're just trying to bring a new ideas and how male can be able to be, respective of gender.
Alliance.
Yes, and how they can be allies. I know someone doesn't want to be called a male feminist, but it happens.
Yeah.
Na
feel ni kama Vincent mention akimake a point anasema about menstruation, and I just needed to let you people know, sijui kama mko aware that today is menstrual hygiene day. Let's normalize conversations around menstruation as normal. It's not being dirty. Nilikuwa tunataka kuonyesha ama hata mali nuko na juu umeshtuka umeniangalia tu hivi.
No. Okay, happy International Menstruation Hygiene Day.
Yes.
I was digesting something that you've just said.
Yeah.
In your intro, you mentioned you do male engagements.
Yeah. Yes.
And even throughout now, you've just mentioned that you do teachings. Mentorship is the word,
Yes.
Mentorship for male in
Yes.
training
Yes.
on gender roles.
Yes.
And I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at feminism and the fact that it provides an equal play, an equal playground. Do you feel it's important, and why specifically do you choose male to be your target audience when we also have females who could benefit from the same program that you're running?
At the start of the program, it was geared towards having informed conversation on sexual reproductive health. Because once everyone is informed about, I know we don't have as a country have comprehensive sexual education, which is what we are trying to vouch for the whole country to just embrace that, and even the education system that we have in our country. When you have that, it's easy for someone to understand where they're coming from. As a man, what are some of the things that you experience as a guy, and what does some of the things that a girl experiences? Why I chose men is because I feel like if men identify themselves, get to understand themselves, what do they go through? Because most of the time you'll find that men, we live a life of whereby it's like programmed. We just want to achieve something. We don't have time to reflect on our own selves or even take care of ourselves. What is our mental
state?
What is our mental state? But I feel like because every time this happens, or if we have anything that happens in terms of sexual gender-based violence, it happens, the perpetrator is a man.
Most of the cases.
Most of the cases. Why does it happen? Because you'll find that if you have this candid conversation with these men, and even the kids in school, how they view girls when you're starting having conversation with them, you're shocked. Because these are the things that they borrow from even their family setup. If I come home and I find the woman has not cooked, and I was out there looking for ends meet, if I find the woman has not cooked, what do?
You beat her.
You slap her. And then the son who is there in that home,
it's okay.
So if a lady doesn't cook, what do?
You beat her.
I slap her. So when he goes back to school, what happens? If I say something and a girl doesn't do, what do? Slap her. So you see, you've been carrying, the young boy is carrying this.
Yeah.
And then, you end up, you have another different generation of young men who have reciprocated what the fathers have been doing, what the grandfathers have been doing, or even, idealizing women as a sexual object. It happens. So that really happens. So why I chose men is because men haven't had a platform whereby they're informed, so that they make decisions from an informed point of view. And then, as also we also understand that men are everywhere. A man goes back to a wife, goes back to a mother, goes back to a sister, and sometimes they have power to make a decision on something. So if they are informed, I think they are able to advocate for the right thing, and they're able to vote for equal rights for everyone. So men coming from an informed point of view.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really great what you're doing, yeah? It's really great what you're doing.
Very nice.
And I feel like it's even greater because you've chosen that particular audience.
Or something to add, sorry.
It's okay.
It's not that we also don't do this with women. For those women who are, they are not, okay, let me say welcoming. We've gone to spaces that women wouldn't want us to be part of it, and we understand. It's coming from a struggle point of view. Women and girls have been fighting for this for a very long time. So when you find a man in a female space, sometimes you're icked. You're like, unafanya nini hapa, bro?
He's here to take our space.
Yeah, is he here to take over our space?
Yeah.
That's another thing that sometimes we struggle with. But those chances that we've gotten of having conversation with women, some of them have been very welcoming. And we also make them understand where we're coming from and why this is important for them. Because also remember that many organizations and even CSOs and even the United Nations system of working right now has changed, that they've introduced the new intervention of gender equality is also having male as allies.
Wow.
So even many organizations are trying to borrow this, or even
Yeah.
as we launched our strategic plan just the other
This year?
2 weeks ago. And one of
okay.
the key focus area is also having male as allies.
Allies. Okay.
Yeah, so the direction is moving towards that. How can we also have men who are informed and they're able to make decisions for women?
All right, yeah, and of course, kama hii space tumekuita as an ally kuja kuongea. So there are more spaces that are being created, so that we have women as our allies, all right?
Yes.
And of course, unaweza kutupata pale katika social media platforms. Make sure unatumia hashtag Space Yako the podcast and comment, like and share. And unaweza pia kuandika hapo about today's conversation. It's not really solution based.
Yeah.
It's just to spark a conversation. Manake, we need to have more spaces like this.
Yes.
Intentional communication and conversations. So ngoja nikuulize, manake mtu mwingine anaweza kapale aulize, okay, so why should I be an ally, to women? Ama why should I be as a man, why should I be a feminist? Like kwa nini, you get?
I believe for change to happen, there's need of support. And support comes from both ends.
Yeah.
Where the key cause of everything started from. We know there are particular systems that have existed from way, way before. And in order so that we save our girls, save our women, and also so that we have equal rights for everyone, is why I think it's important for also having men as gender allies, men supporting women programs, men providing spaces that women can also experience equal opportunities that they're able to access. So that's why I feel it's very important. And also, I usually think of a family setup. Why I think a father should be a feminist is because at the end of the day, he has a daughter. And you didn't want your daughter to experience some of the backlash that comes with the patriarchal system of a society. Because you have those scenarios of whereby we really idealize marriage.
Yeah.
We really idealize marriage in this society.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day.
Please.
Dowry
We
payment.
dive into that.
That's a conversation for another day. But you'll find that, when a girl comes back home out of, there's conflict that happened at home, you've been battered by your husband. Hey, babako tu anakumbuka zile Mercedes aliletewa na the other family. Rudi kwenye.
Wengine hata ni kuku.
Hata anaweza
Family inakuanga
kurudisha.
hivyo. Rudi tu uende mng'ang'ane. But you see, if you're a father who understands that it's not allowed for a man to beat a wife,
right.
It's not right. It's against even human rights. That's you're depriving someone the freedom of existing as a woman. So if you understand that, it can really shield, even protect your family. You can protect your girl from a lot of things that can happen to her.
Because you're coming from a place of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah, you understand what really transpires. I know some of the times when you're having this conversation, that's why I usually use a family setup. You're talking to people in the community. They don't understand the advocacy aspect of it. Tell them what happens in a family setup. Tell them what happens in a relationship while we are dating. This and this might happen to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell them those conversations. They relate to that.
Funny enough, I don't know why I have kidogo different views in that sometimes I fail to understand mbona tukienda educate the public ama the masses out there lazima tutumie like a family kind of scenario ili waweze kupata the gravity of the matter. Mbona lazima to touch on us saying it's your mother who's going to get affected, or it's your daughter, or it's your sister who's going to get affected. Ndo I feel hii matter iko na gravity and we ought not to do this thing this way. Lazima like mbona tu siwaambie ni neighbor yako like anaffectiwa na I feel they need to actually help ama to just decide to stand in and be the change in the world. You get? So ni ile niko like, I mean, it does work. I feel like for now it does work, but ni psychological. But I feel kwa hivyo, at you're just choosing to help because it's a person close to you that is getting affected.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
I think it also comes from a point of lived experiences. Because human psychologically, what really touches you is what touches you is emotional connection of something. So when you understand there's some emotional, something manipulation that happened, you can really you can connect it haraka.
And also just to get back to that, I think most of the time when we're doing advocacy, we touch on what is said most because we are still living in a cultural society.
Yes.
In one way or another, we all have that sense of culture. It's like, in the end of the day, you see, this is where I belong. And because we are fighting all that, and before we get to a point where we are able to pinpoint, it's not a must for it to hit close to home or home for it to be bad or for it to be out of the do's. At least now we have a sense of, if we tell them this, they understand. It clicks much and it relates most. So it's what relates to them and it's what they understand better. So that's why I think the example of family works most of the time.
Also, just think about a time you're in a situation. Let's say, okay, because we're umeenda sherehe, watu wanapigana. Would you get involved in that nini? You will, most of the time, you just look at it, you're like, that's not my problem.
The culture that we've grown as Kenyans, bystanders
so
intervention is really critical. I think also we need to do a lot of advocacy on, as a bystander, how do you safeguard yourself? And how do you, if you're trying also to support, if you're trying to aid someone, support them to, how do you do it in a good way so that it doesn't affect them and also it doesn't affect you? Because we have that culture, it's very big and it
ili ya kuignore. Not my problem.
Neighbor anapiga bibi yake.
And the minute people come to realize that hizi vitu zote zinakwanga na a ripple effect. In as much as haiko kwako sahi, in affect mtu mwingine, itakuramba
one way or another.
Don't just watch.
Just to
Again, remember to interact with our WhatsApp chatbot where you can talk and ask all these questions. Maybe we are saying something and you don't understand better, or there's something you need clarity on. To access our chatbot, go to www.wazzi.ke and you'll get access to the chatbot. We are talking about media platforms, and I just mentioned our WhatsApp chatbot as one of the platforms where you can get answers to all these questions that you might have. What is the role of social media or any other media platform in championing for feminism or equality, as we have said?
Connecting with fellow feminists. I feel like tukiwa na hizi conversations, for instance, on places like Twitter Space conversations, I mean, and we are championing for the same thing. We're all
Gladwell, you're a feminist.
I am a feminist.
Oh, okay.
proudly, capital letters. So Nile, if at all I'm in such a space communicating about the same, I am sure nitapatana na such people alike minds, tuna support the same cause. So definitely tuta connect hapo. And definitely we shall build on more and more initiatives that we want to work on in the line of feminism. Yeah.
Instagram yako ina champion aje for feminism?
I don't have an Instagram.
Oh wow, look at me making assumptions over here.
You're not on socials?
I'm not on socials, but I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm on Twitter. I retweet. I don't tweet a lot, but I try my best. But I think social media has a really big role to play in terms of taking into consideration at this point of time in our generation. Many people are able to access mobile phones or even to access online platforms. So I think even having such spaces whereby we can have such candid conversations so that people can come from a point of they are really informed, they're educated, they know what they are talking about, they know what they are championing for. And even creating other spaces whereby if we have people who are well educated, or well informed about something, they're able to share with other people. Like
Yeah.
even hosting a Twitter space that you have male in the community can join in and hear what's the point of view of men in feminism. That's a good thing. Yeah. And also, I think we also need to be very cautious. There's a lot of information that is going around. Sometimes you might be carried away by what is trending, while thinking that is the right thing. I remember you had a question on how do I know that this is the right information in terms of even meninism and also patriarchal, because sometimes it looks like feminism has a different perspective of things. So just understanding it's important to understand and being informed.
Yeah.
And also just being very careful on the socials when it's a misinformation, you
Yes,
call
yes,
it
yes.
out immediately as well. Yeah.
Yeah, be
Sababu kuna
cautious,
mtu-
go sit down, read about it.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is as a young person, can access to these things. Just because you can chat GPT, so
And the good thing is that pia through our chatbot yani kama wewe kuna kitu uko nayo and you're not sure about it, make sure unaenda pale katika ile chatbot, because everything is going to be clarified to you, and that's the beauty about it. And speaking of spaces, that is one of the spaces ambayo for the young girls and women, and that is where you go for information, for the right information. So make sure uende pale www.wazi.co.ke.
Yeah, so I think we've mentioned, but maybe just to add one last point is I think social media is the space where people vent
A lot.
And especially on this era, it's like it has created, it's not a safe space per se, but someone would rather create an anonymous account and go give a pseudo account and go give their opinion about something they think is wrong and hide their identity. So like Aisha has said, it's calling them out, like calling this toxic masculinity, and that is the next thing I want you to talk about here. How do we also challenge this toxic masculinity that is going around, and easy tu vitu zote that men with toxic masculinity traits are trying to portray to other young men?
We had mentioned about staying informed, access those spaces that you are able to access and get informed. I think you can't make a well-informed decision if you're coming from a point that we mwenye hata una information about it, because you are trying to leverage on the hearsay and also some assumptions that you have. Come on, understand. You know what the line on toxicity where it is. Understand if someone does this, that's someone being toxic.
Yeah.
Because, from even understanding what the definition of toxic is, understand your kwanza, so that before you make a judgment about something, you're able to understand or even pinpoint hii kitu by the end wrong. Understand your kwanza so that you make a very good decision about something.
Now, make us understand. We've talked of toxic masculinity. What is that in a sense?
Toxic masculinity, whereby a man cannot fully, experience the wholesomeness of being a person. You can't be vulnerable. You can't be mushy with your person. You can't, explain yourself. A man is supposed to be very hard, and the way we are brought up in a community, mwanaume ni kukaa ngumu. Mwanaume ni kukaa ngumu. Mwanaume ni shida. So at the end of the day, ni kunuka jasho. Mi usema, like, how does it help you as a man at the end of the day if mwanaume ni kukaa jasho?
Sikukua hiyo sasa mwanaume.
Ni nini inaleta that kukua na jasho? Is there a benefit that comes with that?
No.
If kama ningekuwa nakula jasho and then I'm getting a million.
Jasho.
Okay,
jasho ni kunuka.
Sorry. Nanuka jasho, and at the end of the day I'm getting millions on it. That is allowed.
Then you'll be benefiting from
I'll be benefiting from it, but ni kunuka jasho, it's kukaa ngumu, and my pocket is inaendelea kutoboka because I'm spending something just to show that I'm a macho man because I'm overspending on something, while at the end of the day nitakuwa financially sina pesa. My mental wellness is not okay. I'm not even, that's why we have the biggest cases that we have of even suicide men. So at the end of the day, toxic masculinity doesn't help you as a person. Express yourself. Well, let people judge you the way they can. If you can be able to just go somewhere, cry. At night, if you cry alone, we cry too, alafu rudi. If it helps you relieve yourself and even get strength to conquer the following day, we fanya. Just do you. You have a way of doing stuff. I think we are not supposed to be idealizing what the community understand as masculinity
Yeah.
and fully just do whatever they want. Because at the end of the day, we lose ourselves as men.
True. Wafuasi wake Amerix, don't follow blindly.
There are some points Amerix husema mzuri, as in we kwa informed kwanza, so that you try and weigh in what is making sense, what is not making sense.
You have to verify the truth of the statements being posted out there online.
Yeah, and I think in itself, what you've said is actually benefit of feminism to men, is that feminism is asking for that space where everybody can be themselves, as long as you're not infringing on any other person's rights, or making other people feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Siko kanyage mtu moja ndio upande. It's an equal.
It's level.
Playing field.
Yeah, it goes even in relationship and even in marriages. Kama wewe at that point in the marriage, I'm the one who has money. As a woman, wewe support. As a man, communicate. I'm at this point in my life, I'm not able to access such funds. What can I do to support you? Communication, and also, being true to yourself as a person, and also being true to the other person that you are.
So kuna kwanga na hii kitu ya feminism. If I'm a feminist now, like, is it okay to have a man to, unajua, kunifanyia those two things that I like get that door for me,
Pull the chair
for me. Like, is there any correlation with
usikuje kucommand? I think it comes from a point of affection. If I really like you, you don't have to tell me pull a chair for you.
So you are kunipulia chair, they really didn't like me.
No. My point is, it's not something that is cast on stone or anything.
Of course.
It's not something that you should define masculinity. But if you really love someone, those are it's mannerism. It sort of like goes back to character. Or how you feel affection of, how you're affectionate to someone. I'll pull your chair, I'll get you flowers. Communicate also as a woman. But I understand that kuna ile as a man you should know this is
like kuna correlation kweli, kwa sababu unaona feminism from our definition ambayo tumeanza nao vizuri tu, it's an equal playing field.
Yes.
For everyone. It's not ati any gender ambayo inaleta nyingine chini ndo huyu mwingine apande. Si ndio? Lakini sasa ikija kwa hizi vitu ambazo, let's say I'd like my partner to do, those are personal preferences. So it has nothing to do with it.
Yes. Those are personal preferences.
So there's no correlation.
There's no correlation. In fact, it goes back to character and that person as a person. If Aisha, you as a person, if communicate in your relationship, by the way, my what is it called? My love languages. I love flowers. I love gifting. I love spending time with my person. Let the person know. So that siku ile hajafanya usiseme ati me as a feminist, I like my seat being pulled, I like having flowers, nilete flowers kila jioni na mfuko wake inaendelea kutoboka, surely ataleta lunch ama ataleta flowers,
atakula jasho
akule jasho ya kulete flowers.
Lakini inaeleweka for real.
I think communication, because sometimes we try and mix those things. Being a feminist, character ya mtu as a person.
Yes, indio.
We try to intertwine those things, and it affects even people's relationship, and even people how relate in their marriages or even in their lives. It affects.
Does.
So let's have those distinctive definitions. Hizo ni personal communication. Communicate with your person. Let him understand how you like being treated. And you as a person, communicate. How far can you go with your treatment so that someone understands? In our relationship, this is what we can do. So that someone doesn't me am as a feminist. Mami, feminist haikuangi hivyo.
Kwa sababu mtu mwingine someone else would be scared to even say, you see, like how Malini asked Gladwell, are you a feminist? And she said, yeah, I'm a feminist. Someone else wouldn't want to say outright, like, yes, I'm a feminist. Because, fear of losing out. They are trying to link feminism with an angry lady, a bitter lady. Because we've seen that.
And sometimes it pull out other women who wants to be part of the movement, or other men who wants to even have a relationship with someone who is a feminist. But I think it just goes back to understanding the real definition, or even what's the key thing that we are advocating for. What does it entail? So that we don't mix up these things. And something else, let me add something else on a relationship, on relating with people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, feminism is even understanding your person.
How so?
Taking into consideration, or let's take over a situation of tukienda date na wewe Aisha, if you pay for lunch, it is okay. That doesn't make me a less of a man. And if I pay for the lunch, it is okay. You understanding your person.
Hii conversation naomba jamani rudi tena. Mi naomba urudi tena.
Yeah, I'm talking of people who are serious in their relationship.
Yeah.
So you usually know the financial status of your person.
Yeah.
Even in a marriage situation. Usimfinye tu na unajua vizuri sana alilipa jana loan. Wewe unataka as a feminist unataka hii lunch ilipwe leo. I want flowers
I think
iletwe.
those ones go down to now the relationship.
The
and
relationship.
personality.
But the act
It has
of
nothing to do with feminism.
understanding.
Do you want to come back to our nini?
Definitely.
You want to come back?
Definitely.
To talk more
Mi
about
nataka to
feminism?
discuss hiyo episode to discuss who should pay the bill on the first.
And that has
50 or
nothing
not.
to do on feminism.
Yeah.
Another
That's on relationship.
That is gender roles, actually.
Yeah, gender roles.
Yeah.
And it's good that you're doing
And
that.
gender
in Dilka.
stereotyping. We'll discuss about that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a very broad topic. Gender stereotyping and gender roles.
Tuandikie email
So
basi.
consider this a common
Andikia Jules
invitation.
email.
Acha tuandikia email na uko hapa.
Tuongeleshe vizuri side.
The director amesikia, so I think she will act on it. Ama niaje Jules?
Yeah. As we are winding up, I'd just like to hear one parting shot from everyone. And I'll start with myself. How can we ensure that people understand feminism and all that it is? Like, what are you doing already to champion for feminism? So myself, I think I'm doing so much of mentorship on young girls, and this is on CSC, Comprehensive Sexuality Education. I'm a DYA from Nairobi, so we'll talk about that later. But it's just to ensure that that empowerment cuts across all genders at whatever level. So yeah. Gladwell, what are you
Yes.
doing?
I do a lot of things, but leo nitakuwa so specific to one. I am a youth advisory panel member at Positive Young Women Voices. It's based at Dandora, whereby we deal with a lot of young adolescent girls. And yes, definitely, if we go to a school setup, definitely a primary school iko na both boys and girls. So ni close to the same thing as what Marlene is doing, because ni mentorship with all these young people. So watakuja from a point of information from a young age, because basically you can't teach an old dog new trick. So it's better umemodel mtu akiwa at a young age, ndo akigrow up anaweza uphold all these good values and upholding feminism. Yeah.
Vincent.
Just beefing up what I've been doing, and also trying to bring in on board a lot of influential people, because most of the time you'll find that out of how we are built as human beings, we understand more it comes from someone who has power. There's that power
Influence.
relation and influence.
Yeah.
So just bringing them on board, having those imams, the pastors, mtu wa boda, I understand kwanza what apart from even feminism.
Yeah.
But you existing as a man in a community, how can you support a woman
Yeah.
in what you are doing? And how does that help you as a man? Wholesomeness of a community.
Kweli.
That is great. Unafanya nini Aisha?
Well, through my platforms that I have, that is on social media, I always have the conversations. My the TV show I host and the radio show. So just the platforms that unajua nimepatiwa, manake at the end of the day, these are the platforms. Just like here, Wazi as well. You know, we reach out to so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on this podcast as well, we do that as well. Nyumbani kwangu, I'm raising a boy child.
Umekuwa feminist?
Eh?
Hapo kwako
Ah,
nyumbani.
huwa yanijua sana. I'm raising a boy child, and so unaona, like for you, Vincent, your conversations with these young adolescents. So yes, my own child. We have these conversations a lot, and unajua ananiuliza hivi, sema okay, maybe he'll come and anauliza okay, today sijui there's a girl nini. So we talk it out as well. And some time back, it's something that it's still a passion of mine. I'd like to maybe revive it. It was called Young Moms Club KE, because as a young mom, there's some things that I really went through that I wished kungekuwa na a young person ambao ningeongelesha, and not someone not necessarily older. So we kind of relate, mtu ambao amepitia, the young parenting as well. And so I had, the movement Young Moms Club KE, where we, we just talk, especially about mental health. And so that's something, an initiative probably later on I would love to But people normally reach out now from me sharing my experience as well.
So guys, this has been a very amazing episode, and we hope to even have a part 2 of the same. If you've stayed this long on the episode, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Space Yako, remember again. And if you want to interact with us, the hashtag that you're using is Space Yako the podcast. Find us on our Instagram at wazike, and also on our website at www.wazi.ke. That is WAZZI. Do you want to give your socials?
Oh yeah. Follow me on Twitter at Vincent Mwinde.
Oh, just on Twitter?
Yes.
So remember to tell us how this episode was, yeah? And until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.